Welcome back to another episode of The Fertile Dark. Charmaine and I are really excited because we are going to explore how alchemy can help us transform ourselves and community in a time of intense social discomfort and upheaval. So many people right now are in a place where they just want to know what to do and are terrified about the future. And alchemy can be a way of helping us turn the heaviness of lead into the beauty of gold. So we'll look at some stages of alchemy, the process itself, and how that can influence us and community.
Welcome. So when you mentioned this topic this week, you're like, hey, this is what we're planning for this week. I thought back to a couple of months ago. I was having a conversation with a dear close friend of mine who happens to be a listener also. And we were having this conversation. She was telling me and some friends, a story of somebody, I want to say this is what was happening. I don't remember the lead up. I only remember what she said. But the lead up, I want to say, was somebody trying to apologize to her about something. And the apology just was not gelling. It was, more of a like, let me tell you why you shouldn't feel this way, instead of like a real, genuine, sincere apology. And my friend said, it's okay. I'm an alchemist.
Yeah.
And it blew my damn mind. And I've been thinking about it for 2 months since then. What it means to be an alchemist, what it means to be able to take something that someone has given us and transform it into what we need.
Yeah. I'm curious what you've come up with so far.
Oh, well, I try to hold the space of both, I'm going to take what I need from this interaction, and also I'm going to use it to make myself better, make my community better, and set boundaries as appropriate, be able to engage in more authenticity, vulnerability, whatever, right? Just because somebody's giving me, let's say, an apology that is not working doesn't mean I have to take it and forgive them and move on and still have the same kind of closeness, right?
Right.
It means I can take it. I can take what I need from it. I can honor that they're doing the best that they're doing, and I can still set boundaries. I can still remove myself from a situation, whatever else. It's that taking of the information, even if it's not ideal information, even if it's from a place of stunted emotional intelligence or whatever else, but I can take it, I can transform it, and I can use it to make myself and my environment better.
Yeah, I really like that. Well, particularly, I guess what comes to mind when I think about it in a context like this of someone has done something that's caused me some pain, some hurt. And now they are offering me something that seems like an apology, accurate or inaccurate.
Yeah.
There's a way of being able to take what has been activated inside of me and working with that so that I'm able to unpack it and access what's hidden within that activation.
Right. And I think that in the identification of being an alchemist, there's also that acknowledgement that what I'm being given isn't enough. Right? It isn't enough. It's not what I need. It's maybe even perhaps not what the other person needs or what the community needs, right? And that's what I love about it. It's not the what's real popular lately is that let them theory, right? It's not just this simple, okay, I'm going to let them be whatever they are. I'm going to acknowledge that it's not enough, and I'm still going to take it and take what I can get out of it and use that accordingly.
Right. Like how they're showing up in the representation of what they're fully capable of, or even in a way that lets me be maybe fed in the way that I would hope for. But there is a way of saying we can actually access what is enough on the inside, but it's going to take a little bit of a process.
Yeah. It's a radical acceptance of what is being given. I'm going to radically accept what is being given. I'm not going to ask this person to be more than they are. They're going to show up, and that's exactly how they are going to show up. But I'm going to recognize that it's not enough, but I have the power to get what I need.
And I also appreciate that this is not an easy process to go
Oh, no. Oh, no, it is not.
Right. I heard someone talking about this recently. They are actually a physicist,
Okay.
and they were talking about alchemy.
Yeah.
Said alchemy was science before it was separated from spirituality.
Oh, yeah.
Which I really appreciated that, because there is this idea that the math-based science that we use, this quantitative way of viewing things and describing things, it's only part of the picture.
Yeah.
Where alchemy takes the scientific process and incorporates the qualitative components of it,
Okay.
which I really like.
Yeah.
And it really felt like in that moment, this is really how Jung and then Marie-Louise von Franz talked about how it's actually a system of processes by which we confront the shadow, confront the lead within, and then unlock the gold that is buried beneath.
Oh, I love that. So if we're taking alchemy down to like the basics, the like bare bones of what it is, alchemy is transformation, right? It's taking that thing that may not seem useful and turning it into something that is not only useful, but valuable, right? So when we do that internally, what does that look like?
Well, the stages of alchemy are really interesting.
Okay.
And I think that really walks us through it. And the first step of alchemy is calcination,
All right.
which is, so there's also colors in alchemy. It's like a whole convoluted esoteric experience.
Here for it.
But the color we're associated with is the negredo, or the blackening. Basically what we do is we take our starting material and we burn it.
Oh, okay.
That's calcination.
Okay.
So calcination is really where we are burning off all of the superfluous elements of our lives that no longer serve us.
Well, it makes me think of like in metallurgy, right? Where you put the metal into the fire to burn away the impurities.
Yep.
Right? It's cleansing by fire.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh. And now, of course, I just think about like the experience of being cleansed by fire.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's horrible.
It is. Yeah. I think about, I don't know if you've ever watched blacksmithing.
Probably.
If you ever watch it, it's really interesting because this is the process that we're watching, the cleansing by fire.
Right.
You watch the metal heated and hammered, and then you have this scaling that builds up on the outside, which they then take a wire brush and scrape off the top.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really that purification that is happening. The impurities are on the surface. And you superheat it and you hammer it until they become visible, and then you scrape it off.
Right. Which we know this is the process to make the metal stronger. But like, I think about the experiences that I have had where I've been heated and hammered and heated and hammered and scraped. And oh my, like it is such a painful process.
It really is. In part because we're dealing with preconceived notions about identity. That is a major part of the calcification process.
Oh, 100%. All of the masks that have been given to us that we've had to take on for safety, for regulation, for being able to fit in. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. It's the dark night of the soul.
Ugh, yes. We've talked about that so many times.
Yes. So, this is a really painful process.
Right.
Like I think about for myself, like, because we're talking about like, what is the way that I consciously conceive of myself? So for me, one of the core beliefs that I've held for the majority of my life is that I'm unwanted and unlovable.
Right.
This is like a core piece of how I've always seen myself. Very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember having to come face to face with this experience where there's a pre-verbal memory, like that felt like I was in the womb space of feeling unwanted and unlovable, which has then been perpetuated throughout my life. And I can look back at ways that, like, for example, when I was in basic training for the military, I set myself some really high goals. Like I want to max out my score on my fitness test. I want to qualify expert on my weapon system. And there was like something else I wanted to do too. But it was basically all of these ways that I'd set goals that actually weren't honoring myself. They were a way of trying to challenge that underlying belief. And the hardest part for me was circling back around and having to face that and start to peel that back.
Right.
And it feels a bit like being lit on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Having your skin peeled off. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's so hard. That's so real. Those beliefs that we have, they've been given to us at such an early age. And when they're given at such an early age, you look for ways to prove that belief. See, yes, this thing I believe is true. See, I'm telling you, that's the thing. And when we do that at such a young age, it becomes so difficult as an adult to switch that. We're looking for the proof that it's wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what that like burning in fire and being hit over and over and scraped and all of that is scraping that away.
Right. Yeah. It's like the way we see ourselves has to fundamentally change.
Yes.
We have to be, and it's like in part, like I'm having to come face to face with where does that message really come from? But what we also find in this stage is it's not just about the way I perceive my identity. It's also about my worldview.
Yes. Everything shifts. It's so, we see this over and over again as therapists. We have had to experience ourselves over and over again so that we can be effective therapists. That shifting in the ways that we view ourselves and the way we view our systems that we're born into, that we've bought into, having to make that shift, first one in just the belief, is so incredibly painful.
Yeah.
It's such a hard process. It makes you question your reality, which is an awful, horrible thing. And then once you do accept that view, then to have to make the actual changes in your environment to take action from that point, the whole process is so painful. It's so hard. And people fight it left and right. I'm fighting it myself right now.
Yeah.
Currently, we fight these processes because that system that we're used to, even if it's not serving us, it's familiar. And there's comfort in that familiarity. So I can totally yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Making those changes, so painful, so difficult.
It really is. It's scary.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Like there's this way that there's like a call from within that something needs to shift, but then the resistance too of, but if I let myself change, if I'm willing to dismantle some way I see things, to really do some deconstructing, what will it be like on the other side?
Right. Yeah. It's the tower in alchemy. It's tearing down those old altars, right? It's getting rid of what it was that we thought was working, what we thought was the thing. It's tearing it down. You think of the tower in tarot, right? And there's always like a lightning strike, and there's this like feeling of like explosion, of finding it, of tearing it all apart. In the other tarot that I use a lot,
The Thoth.
Thoth, thank you. Yeah, it's the Queen of Swords and the Princess of Swords.
Yeah.
And the Princess of Swords is tearing down the old altar, and the Queen of Swords sits on the rubble with her mask in her hand. Oh, the visualization.
Yeah, it's really potent. This also reminds me of when we were talking about the journey of the hero and the heroine.
Yes.
In some ways, like this is where the call is issued.
Okay. Yeah.
This is where we often can find the resistance to the call.
Right. Yeah. In the heroine's journey, you're right. It's that like, this isn't working anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And we get this opportunity to look at something, and it can be really hard because we know it's going to be hard work. And it does require some it requires intention, to like intentional effort to be willing to look things square in the face.
Right.
And to say, where is this actually coming from?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I think I didn't realize at first is that, yes, there's going to be some real struggle here, but it actually allows the opportunity for all the things that have kind of built up, like all of the beliefs that don't serve, the worldview that maybe isn't accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It actually allows you to get some separation from it.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to see, like in my case, where I'm saying, oh, I have this fundamental belief I'm unlovable and unwanted.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's not true.
Yeah.
And that there are ways that people do want me to be around, that I actually do have qualities that people appreciate and that I can even appreciate within myself.
Right.
Where all of a sudden you get this little bit of space, and it really feels like that, like burning, like intensity that's uncomfortable, almost like shifts gears, where it feels like it's more like when you've been, well, the only way I can really describe it is I remember like being up in like cold nights, and you wake up before the sun, and right before the sun comes up is the coldest part of the night.
Right.
And you're just like, come on, sun, like you can do it. Please, like just show up. I'm so cold.
Yeah.
But then like those first rays of sun hit, and it's like this warmth that seeps into you a little bit. Like that's the change that the heat feels like.
Okay, I can see that. I want to say it's when the anger transforms from destructive to constructive. Right? Like we've talked about anger in the stages of identity development, that the anger is really what creates that space between the old identity, between the old systems, between the dominant systems and the self.
Yeah.
Right. Honestly, we even see this in adolescence, in stages of development of the lifespan, right? Like you think of the angry teenager who's like always, your parents, you don't know what you're talking about and you don't know me. And right. That anger stage is so important to create that space. So when that anger changes from destructive to constructive, that's what that shift feels like.
Yeah. Which is so powerful.
Yeah. Where we accept that anger, that it doesn't have to be destructive. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about anger before. I love anger as an emotion. I love working with it with clients, even with it. Well, I don't love working with it within myself. I know it's important too, but working with it with clients, it's so magical when a client is able to see their anger not as something that they have to squash down, not as something that they have to fix or get rid of or not address or whatever else. But when they fully accept it, there's this peace in that anger that can come when we fully accept it and accept what it means and embrace it. It is an amazing, beautiful emotion that absolutely can be constructive, can be creative.
Right. It's such a powerful and important thing.
Yeah.
Right. Anger does so many good things for us.
Yes.
I think, though, the challenge we run into is that in order to get there, like we light ourselves on fire a bit before we can really get into that constructive place.
Yeah.
We have to go through stage 2, which is disillusion.
Oh.
Which is where you take all the burned up pieces and you put them in a solution.
Yeah.
And it, like in a solution of water, and it separates things.
Yeah, it dissolves it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the goo stage of the caterpillar to the butterfly.
A little bit, right? And the water here is really important because the water is the unconscious. We've got to be willing to go inside.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to somebody that, just this weekend, and they've been through a lot, and they can get really dysregulated very easily, and the dysregulation is overwhelming, and they've recently started therapy. And I was like, it might be helpful to talk to your therapist about regulation strategies.
Yeah.
This is really helpful. It's important. In order to face the dark night of the soul, you've got to be able to hold yourself together a little bit.
Yeah. You've got to have those those tools, those skills, that ability to tolerate.
Right. Otherwise you run away from it.
100%.
You get overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, 100%.
And so we were talking this weekend and I was like, well, how did it go? And the strategy that she got was, well, you just have to like think about why you're upset and figure out like what's going on. And I was like, well, okay.
Right.
And I think this is where like we run into a bit of differentiating between like more of a like disconnected, like top-down approach and more of like a alchemical bottom-up approach.
Yeah. Well, and I think I hear this all the time, people telling me, well, I'm really self-aware. And I want to say you're not actually that self-aware. What you are is self-observant, right? Which is amazing. Being self-observant is absolutely a helpful skill to have, right? It's part of noticing. It's part of mindfulness. What we do with that observance becomes that awareness.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And I love that. Like mindfulness is always where we start.
Right.
Is we notice the place within.
Yes.
Without judgment.
Right. And so if you can take those like, okay, so I'm thinking about it and, this is where it comes from and this is what's happening and you've intellectualized it all. Okay, great. What are we then doing with that? And I would say like there's some, maybe some therapeutic dissociation with that, right? Observing, that's a curiosity, which helps to engage our prefrontal cortex. So if that helps you to get to regulation, brilliant, beautiful. What are we then doing with it?
Exactly.
That's the alchemy.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the disillusion part is when I notice it and then I reorient.
Yes.
Instead of trying to run from it, I turn towards it.
Yeah.
And I allow myself to close the distance.
Yeah.
And I come in from a place of curiosity to understand.
Yeah.
To start beginning to understand, why is this here?
Yeah.
Where is it coming from? Because then that can start to help me understand like what's really going on.
Right. I think too, in that process, there needs to be some acceptance also, right? Because I think there are points where we may not understand and there may not be something there to understand, right? Sometimes there's just like, I think specifically in terms of like when I see couples coming together, right? And one's got one opinion and another's got another opinion. And these two views, they're describing the same room. They're just describing it from different points of view, right? And neither one of them can seem to connect to see what the other one is seeing. I think we do that internally also, right? We do that within ourselves where we're trying to make sense of something that really isn't going to make sense, right? Can we accept it? Can we love it even in the experience of not understanding it?
Yes. Well, and this is such a good thing. Like one of the things I love to talk to people about, just like in a brief moment of explanation, is they're like, I see it, but it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
Like when we have parts that protect us, logic and rationality is not part of the contract.
Yes.
Our parts are going to be irrational because often they need to be.
Yeah.
And like when we can be able to sit with that complexity and say, I don't need it to make sense. I just need to see it as valid.
Yes.
Now we can start to work.
Oh, that's like if we can accept it that it doesn't make sense and that's okay that it doesn't make sense. And in the chaos of it, it kind of makes sense.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Like if I know like, okay, I have this really irrational part of me and I'm trying to work on it. And I'm like, I can't make sense of it logically.
Right.
Let go of the logic.
Right.
And get curious about why it's there in the first place and then see if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I can release the need for rational because now I can see this part needed to be here.
Right.
It's really valid in that way. Even if it's not making a lot of sense in my adult logic-centered brain, it still makes sense it would be here in this way.
Right.
Which then also allows us into the other piece of this stage of alchemy, which is allowing us to see the fear that is behind it.
Right.
what am I really, like this part of me, what is it really afraid will happen if it stops to do the job?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the question. That's a hard question to sit in when you're doing that work. When you're these parts, these skills, these coping mechanisms that we have, they make sense in that they're trying to keep us safe, right? And when we've had a thing that's worked for so long, right? We make it to our 30s, we make it to our 40s, we make it to our 50s, whenever. And we've had this one coping skill that has brought us so far, has kept us safe, has kept us alive, has kept people around us, has kept us in community. And we get to a point where like, this isn't working anymore. How do I make it work again? Right? We just desperately want to make it work again. And we're like, it doesn't work anymore. But why not? It worked before. You're right. It did work before. It makes sense why it worked before. It doesn't make sense that it doesn't work now though, does it? No, it doesn't. I hate that for you. Let's learn something new. Oh, it's so hard.
It's
really so painful.
Is. Yeah. Well, and it is so painful often because in asking the question, we see the wound that's being protected.
Oh, yes.
So, like, for example, I have a part like that uses shame to protect. It's one of the most uncomfortable protective parts of me that I have. Like, eats me alive.
Yeah.
And often in like weird ways where I'm like honestly, the easiest thing to do would just be to share whatever's going on inside and let someone speak to it. But I can't because this part's really worried that if I were to share, oh man, like I forgot I had to do this thing. And now it's like, I forgot to pay this doctor's bill and now there's a late fee on it. Oh man. And I'm like ashamed that I forgot and it's going to cost extra money. And like the easiest thing to do is be like, ugh, I forgot.
Right.
And I offload it. But this part's really afraid that if I were to share, it'll be rejected. And then the truth is that if I were to be rejected, it's because I'm actually unwanted and unlovable.
Oh, yeah. That's so real.
Yeah.
I always think of it like, to use a very like vivid, visceral metaphor. I think of it as sitting in hot trash. Okay. So I've sat in this hot trash for a long, long time. I don't even smell it anymore.
Yeah.
Right. It's just warm. It's supportive. It's all around me. But of course, underneath all that hot trash, I have developed all sorts of sores. Right. And there comes a day when somebody's like, why are you sitting in hot trash? And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting in hot trash. All right, well, I guess I should get up and move. And you get up and you move and all of these sores are underneath and you need to clean them out. And it is so painful. And you're like, but sitting in hot trash, I mean, yeah, okay, I had the sores, but I didn't know I had sores.
Yeah.
I was surrounded by what was familiar and it was warm and like, it was keeping me safe. It was keeping other people away from me. It was, you know, I didn't have to deal with all these things. And you get up now and you've got to clean out the wounds and you've got to let them dry out and air out a little bit. And it is an incredibly painful process.
It can be.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing is that by doing this, by really going into the unconscious and facing what's in there, it allows us to move to that third stage of separation.
Yes.
Where we can actually remove ourselves from these habitual patterns that keep us stuck. Like the hot trash analogy is so perfect. It's so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Like we're there for a really valid reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that we would stay there.
Right.
Except from the perspective of I can see how being here was protective.
Right.
And how this kept me from being overwhelmed by something.
We can approach that with compassion. We can approach it with curiosity and also with some radical acceptance. Okay, this was actually hot trash I was sitting in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the most beautiful pieces of the separation stage is that it frees us from resentment towards ourselves and others.
Oh, you mean I have to forgive myself?
I don't know if I would use the word forgiveness, actually.
Okay.
I think there's a way of being able to accept ourselves.
Okay. I agree.
I mean, I'm curious what you mean by forgiveness here, but...
Well, I use forgiveness just because it's a word that gets used so often, right? And actually, I would tell you, I hate it.
Yeah.
When I sit with it long enough and when I think about it long enough and when I've got somebody telling me I just need to forgive myself, I want to punch them.
Yeah.
Not really. But yeah, that idea of forgiveness, but I think you're absolutely right. If we can approach it with acceptance, with maybe some compassion,
Yeah.
with some understanding, that's a much more beautiful experience, I think, anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I can acknowledge the beauty and worth and value that I hold within
Yes.
that has been prevented from being fully present.
Yes.
And I can do it in a way where I don't resent the ways that I've prevented that from happening. And I can do it in a way where I also don't resent other people for their contributions.
Okay. Oh, okay. This just, I 1000% agree with this. I think it's so important. I think if we can also develop that for ourselves, this is where that social change comes in. If we can develop that ability within ourselves to do that, to give ourselves that amazing, beautiful gift, then we can also do it outward.
Yeah.
And give it to others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because how we relate to our inner world is how we relate to the outer world.
Exactly.
I can never truly accept another if I can't truly accept myself.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, we hear that all the time, right? It's really hard to love another person if you don't love yourself. We hear these kinds of things. What I want is more like tangible, concrete why that is. Because I get that question a lot. Why? It's easy for me to love other people. It's really hard for me to love myself. Why is it not a genuine, authentic kind of love and acceptance if we're not giving it to ourselves?
Well, I mean, one piece of it is that we often experience a lot of projection with other people.
Okay.
So often there are things that we're really upset about in other people that we also really are upset about in ourselves.
Right.
And we really appreciate in other people the things that are actually true for ourselves, but that we're unwilling to accept.
I agree. Yeah.
It is a little bit easier to accept other people.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that Jung talked about that was so interesting is that he said, and I'm paraphrasing, that people will spend their whole life trying to remove the skeletons from their closet and integrate them and heal them.
Mm-hmm.
And they will fight tooth and nail to keep from pulling the gold.
Oh, yeah.
So I can say like, okay, what are the things that I'm really accepting and grateful for and that I really love and appreciate in these other people?
Mm-hmm.
And why is it that I love that so much? Why is it I'm so grateful for that? And when we start to ask the why, oftentimes it's, I love this about this person because I wish someone would have done that for me.
Mm.
I'm really grateful for this because that is a thing that I've always felt is needed in the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Of course we feel that way.
Right.
And also, what happens if we were to be able to own that within ourselves?
Yeah.
I wish someone had been that way for me. Well, what if I was that way for me?
Right.
That's the thing I've always felt is so needed in the world. Well, what if I was also one of the people who brought it into the world?
Right. Right. Okay. So it's sitting in here and it's percolating and it's starting to take shape. It feels too like the ability to radically accept ourselves with a degree of like Zen Buddhist non-attachment, right? Which is really meaning, it's not that we don't have attachments and create attachments. It's more that we are not attached to the judgments, right? We're not attached to the outcomes. We're here with radical love, radical acceptance, all of those things that however you show up is how you're meant to show up. And so what's feeling to me and what's like kind of coming out of all of this is that when we practice that kind of love and acceptance inward, what we project outward is that love and acceptance with that side of non-attachment, of unattachment. That I'm going to love and accept and honor you and celebrate you exactly as you show up in the world without that attachment to what it may mean.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Or without that attachment to what I may get from it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And can I really honor and appreciate you fully, even when I see your imperfection?
Yeah.
Not just the things that I like and appreciate about you.
Right. If I choose to love you, I choose to love all of the parts of you.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yeah. Because otherwise, like if we can't practice that place of non-attachment, otherwise everything I'm appreciating about this other person becomes conditional.
Right.
Like the idea of never meet your heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh. Like, I mean, I remember growing up and being like, Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes.
He's like my spirit animal.
Yes.
I would love to be him.
Yes.
He's so amazing. I would love to meet Patrick Stewart because he plays Jean-Luc Picard. And also, what if I meet Patrick Stewart for real and he's not Jean-Luc Picard?
Right.
Can I be okay with that? And if the answer is no, that's where the problem is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we fall into these traps. I mean, obviously not just with characters and actors, but with, online gurus, with those who are telling us these lovely, beautiful things that can actually be quite helpful. We have all sorts of therapists who are influencers now, and I think there is a lot of value in that. And also, we tend to hold them to higher standards, which can be difficult. And then I think the trap that they fall into, and we fall into also, is this: I have to be perfect. I can't show the ugly parts. I can't acknowledge the ugly parts, or I can't, acknowledge and grow from them because of that mask.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Which is so difficult, right? When we're in that place where we can't fully accept people.
Right.
Because we also can't fully accept ourselves.
Right.
And that is honest. That's where like the next stage is, the conjunction stage, conjunctio.
Okay.
Actually, I really love all the Latin words for these. I always feel like I can't pronounce them well.
Yeah. I'm here for it though.
But this is like, okay, so we've separated from all of this. Like we've released, we've uncovered, we've separated. Now that we've identified this place of worth and value inside of us, and we have the capacity to see it without resentment.
Okay.
And the capacity to see another without resentment. Like we've relinquished that need.
Yes.
We now have the opportunity to integrate that fully into ourselves. Like I get to say like, okay, this is within me.
Yeah.
Can I now make this a part of who I am all the time?
Yeah. Okay. So that's really difficult. I love the seeing it without resentment, right? And this is where I think a lot of the struggle is, especially for overachievers, for all of us who are burned out after doing so much, is this idea that we can't be fallible, where we can't make mistakes, right? Where we have to always be giving 100%. And so that seeing and accepting and loving without that judgment feels like a place where I can be fallible, where I can make mistakes, where it's okay to mess up every once in a while, that I can use that, I can take it, I can turn that lump of lead into gold if I'm allowed to make mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can honor that we are not fully formed, fully developed.
Right.
We still have some rough edges. There are some things that are still present that we're working on.
Right.
The way that I'm showing up is fundamentally changed.
Right. I think too, this is the importance, especially in doing that relational work, right? See this so often. I've seen this so often with couples where one partner comes in and says, hey, this thing happened and it was hurtful and painful and you did this thing and it didn't feel good. And the partner says, well, what about my pain? What about that time you did that to me? Right? Without being able to stop and see and say and go, you know what? I'm so glad you told me that. I can then take that, I can transform that.
Yeah.
Right. But instead it's I can't mess up. I can't be fallible. I can't, for whatever reason, whatever messages they were given. And that becomes a huge hurdle in these relational fields.
It really does, right? There needs to be that capacity to accept that we are fallible people, that we are not flawless individuals.
Right.
Because that's unrealistic.
Right.
Even if parts of us feel like we need to be.
Yes.
Which, like rewind a few stages.
Yes.
We can take that one into the underworld.
Yes.
And look at that.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's go back and
Right. Because I think about my experience, I totally have that inside. I have to be perfect all the time. Everybody else doesn't have to be, but I definitely have to be.
Yes.
I can't make mistakes. That's not okay. Everything has to be spot on all the time. And, when I when I chased that down, that was a physical, emotional safety thing.
Yeah. Well, and this coming back to the systems that we're a part of, the messages that we get from our families. I'm an oldest child, that I have to be perfect because my siblings are watching me and I'm an example for them. Oh my gosh, rained in me, right? Being raised in a high demand religion where, we got to be perfect for our future spouses, for being a light on a hill, right? All of these messages that we get over and over again where we can't make mistakes. And being told those things from such a young age, how harmful and painful it is to come to that conclusion that I do make mistakes and I've been told I never could and all these other people around me don't. And
right. Which it's a heavy burden to carry.
Yeah. Well, and coming back to that needing to shift that idea of myself and others.
Yes. Yes. Where I can now accept that I am a fallible, flawed person.
Right.
That I'm on my own trajectory of development. And I can honor that without resentment. And I can honor that there is a world that I exist in that's on a similar course, different places, different times, and we interact with each other in a way that can be harmful sometimes. And I can do that from a place of acceptance rather than resentment. And then I can begin to integrate this into my life and say, well, this is who I really am inside.
Yes.
Which then leads me into the putrefaction or fermentation stage.
Oh, okay.
We're going to cook some sauerkraut.
Okay. Which is so good for your tummy. All that fermented food is so good for you.
Yeah. Which is really about the old residual parts of our lives that are tied to that old sense of self. We're going to let those die.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, yep, the death and rebirth.
Yep, that is where we are. Death and rebirth.
Yeah.
Where we are discarding inauthentic ways of being in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. We're discarding the old, the stuff that didn't work, the stuff that needs to be discarded. Let that hot garbage die. Yeah.
Right. Which this can feel really hard, and it's also really potent. Because it's really two pieces. One is there is this death of the inauthentic life. And there can be a lot of grief in that. I think about, for me, one of the biggest ways I've experienced this recently was retiring from the military.
Right.
That was it was my identity was tied into that. It wasn't just what I did, it was who I was.
Yeah.
For 2 decades.
Yeah.
And then I came to a place where I realized this is not actually who I am, and I need to be willing to let that go.
Yeah.
Because it's actually preventing me from fully being myself. There are pieces of that that were true to me, but there were more pieces that weren't than were.
Right. It's so interesting because so often when we ask people, who are you? Tell me who you are. They'll tell you in terms of roles that they play. Right. And I don't know, like, I think even if somebody asked me who I am, I don't know that I would have like a great answer that isn't tied to the roles that I have played throughout my life.
Yes. And this is one of the beauties of this process, is that we can connect to that way of being, which I think maybe is for a separate episode.
Okay.
The short answer I would say is that if we come from a depth lens,
Yes.
each person has a mythopoetic identity.
Right.
Meaning the ultimate unique place that I authentically occupy within community and the more than human world that can only be expressed symbolically in a type of personal myth or poem.
Okay.
Because the unconscious, that's how it speaks.
Right.
Is through symbol and image.
Yes.
So I'm actually debating if I should share this or not.
Well, so I'll tell you, you keep thinking about that. But I was thinking like, okay, if I were to describe myself from a mythopoetic viewpoint, how would I describe myself? And I was thinking like, am I an alchemist? Like, I'd like to think I am. Okay, I'm an alchemist. What else? And I think of like a lot of sand trays that I've done where I like to have an owl that sits on the side of the tray and observes. And sometimes it feels like I'm the observer.
Yeah.
Right. So, and also I'm an Aquarius. We Aquariuses, we love to sit back and observe. Right. So, okay, I'm an observer. I'm an alchemist. I'm an observer. I feel like I'm a connector too. Like I can often connect things. In fact, early on in my career as a therapist, I realized I really liked to do that over the course of getting to know someone and them telling me all their stories. And then I could sit back and I'd be like, hey, did you ever think this thing that you're telling me about right now is tied to that other thing that you told me about like last month? And they would stop and they would go, oh my, yeah, right. So I'm a connector. Like I'm thinking of all of these like in mythopoetic terms, how I could describe myself and who I am.
Yeah. Right. Which is like a big piece of it. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to sit with that though.
Yeah.
How I describe myself and tell you who I am.
Well, and often we need to have an experience where we have encounters with the identity within.
Okay. Say more about that.
So because it's something that is inside of us and lives in the unconscious, we can actually use different techniques, like different methods to encounter that place of identity.
Yes.
Of self.
Right.
This is like when we talk like dream or active imagination / deep imagery. We can use nature-based practices, things that take us into an altered state of consciousness, whether psychedelically driven or otherwise.
Yes.
Psychedelics are not required.
No, they're not.
And are often discouraged.
Yes.
For very important reasons.
Absolutely.
I don't actually need them.
Right.
They can provide a shortcut if it is appropriate.
Yes. Yes. But meditation.
Yes.
Active imagination, the art of creating, whatever it is. Yes. It can all put you in that same state.
Exactly. Yeah. Collage, sand tray, any of these things.
Yes.
For example, I did what's called a nature wander. Where the question I took on you can wander the land with intention. I don't have a specific place I'm trying to get to. I'm just going to walk until I feel like the land is going to speak to me. Because we're talking about it's the place I occupy in the more than human world.
Okay.
That means that the earth can help me here. And my intention was, what is the physical object that represents the way that I feel called to be present in society or in community?
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to take my journal. I'm going to ritualize this. Stand at the trailhead. I set the intention and I just go.
Love it.
Until I feel something stop me and make me feel like I need to sit down and write.
I love this. Our brain loves a ritual, however we do it.
Right. So I'm walking on this trail and I'm just noticing that I'm standing on a trail where on one side of the trail is untouched nature. And on the other side of the trail is Phoenix. Like I am very much between two worlds.
Yeah.
And I'm walking this path between two worlds. I'm just noticing it. And then I just kind of see this rock formation and I'm like, okay, I think I just feel like I should sit down and start writing. And I start writing and I have a couple things come in. But the image that came in was a drum. I'm like, I don't get that. Let me sit with it. And I sit with it. And it's like this way of helping people come together through intentional liminality to be able to connect to each other and the natural world, and really be able to embrace authentic, soul-centric connection.
Okay.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
great. So that was like an experience that I had.
I love it.
I did an active imagination where this was the whole goal, was to have like a soul encounter, you could say.
Okay.
It's like meet the guide of soul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And I meet this raven. And deep imagery, it's an altered state experience.
It absolutely is.
And so we fly into outer space together.
Mm-hmm.
And I see these like 4 spheres that are aligned vertically.
Okay.
And like the bottom one is black and like the other ones, there were 4 colors. There was black, red, yellow, and white.
Okay.
And I can't remember the exact order they go in, right? And like I've never seen this before, but they're all stacked vertically and they're like overlapping slightly. There's like all this like intense like energy and light and stuff going on. And it's like I'm the one that stands outside and helps people travel between the spheres of the reality of their existence.
Yes.
And I look it up later, and there's actually a picture of alchemical spheres that matched that image that I had in my head.
Yes.
Never seen it before.
Okay. This is that like very Jungian collective unconscious, like the images, the mythos, the experience, the archetypes that connect us all that mean something.
Yeah.
Right? The images that speak to us. I love this. And I would absolutely agree with that assessment of who you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So for me, I walked away with this like kind of description.
Right.
And I sat with it and it was like, okay, like how do you capture that?
Mm-hmm.
And this deep imagery guide is like sphere traveler.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to now become an anthropologist to your experience. Okay. Just warning you.
Okay.
But this is one of the magical things about deep imagery work,
Yeah.
right? Especially when we aren't forcing it through the use of psychedelics, right? Where we are allowing it to happen, where we're sitting in the waves of that and letting it wash over us. We are doing so without judgment. And it is such an amazing, beautiful experience that as the images, as the thoughts, as the phrases, as the words, as the memories come up, we simply observe them. And we do so without judgment.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this is coming to me, why this particular image popped up, but I'm going to get curious about it and I'm going to lean into that experience. It is magic. It is, dare I say, alchemy.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that exactly, right? This is the place of being able to start working that,
Yes.
right? Before I could do that, I had a deep imagery journey that I did where the journey actually, we came to the mouth of a cave and I went down into this cave and here's another version of me that's chained to a rock. And I went in and I had to collect that version of me, unchain him and bring him to the surface. And there was like some kind of burden that didn't belong that I had to separate out and release.
Yeah.
Then we come to this next, like down the road, we have this other one, right? But this is what we're talking about, where we first do that calcification process. We see the ways that things aren't serving us. I had just retired from the military. That was when this is happening.
Yeah.
Not like within 6 months to a year after that.
Ooh. Yeah. Big change.
Right? We're like sinking deep into the unconscious. We're seeing the way that things aren't serving us. We're coming to connect with the self within. Right? And then we're honoring ourselves without resentment and coming back out and then beginning the process of integrating that, of being able to say, like, this is who I am. And now we're looking at our life and saying, what are the ways that don't serve me? And I'm allowing those to disappear. I'm allowing those to be like released and allowing myself to grieve the loss of them, because in so doing, I can now experience the other piece of the fermentation stage, which is where I can look forward through a different lens.
I love this. I love this. It brings to mind the idea of an invitation, that when we come upon these transformational phases, the discomfort that we feel from them, just the discomfort, that those are invitations to be curious. They're invitations to change our environment, and they're invitations to change things within ourselves. Usually all of those all at once.
Yeah.
Right? Now, as I'm thinking this, because I have trained my mind to to look at things from a systemic approach, I don't want to fall into the trap of like everything that needs to change needs to be done internally, because that's often not the case, right? Yes, there's so much opportunity for internal change. And I would say that from a, white privileged kind of a place, that is the change that needs to happen. I need to make that change internally, because I have to be able to be curious about another person's experience, right? That when another person is telling me that they're in pain and that they're hurting and whatever else, I'm not simply going to go, well, you just need to forgive yourself, right? Because that's not actually helpful. When another person, especially someone who is less privileged than I am, coming in and telling me I need to change, this is where we need to look to that social change, right? That the inner alchemy isn't just I'm changing me and all of a sudden I'm happy and full of light and I can go out and live in this beautiful utopian world.
Yeah.
Right? Because that isn't what exists right now. And I see so many people, and it's so heartbreaking, but I see so many people thinking that these changes or that these differences in privilege is a matter of pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And that's not actually the case.
Right.
Right? Where we're seeing systemic issues and problems that are keeping so many people from being able to use that alchemy.
Yeah. You can't force it.
No.
Like pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get over yourself, forgive yourself.
Yeah.
There's I feel like I hear what we're trying to say when people say that. We're saying like, hey, can we do like a resilience check here?
Yeah.
And often what we find is that we're actually doing more harm than good.
Yeah.
We can check for resilience with compassion.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, like, let's actually work together here.
Right. And I think we need to acknowledge that as much inner resiliency as a person has, they can have the most inner resiliency of anybody out there and still be a part of a system that pushes them down.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, there has to be some change.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess I'm also thinking like when we continue on the alchemical journey, like after we've had all these, like after fermentation comes distillation, which is where we continue to integrate and where we actually keep ourselves from being driven by ego.
Okay.
Because often what I see here is in the like pull yourself up by your bootstraps, just forgive yourself. That's an ego-driven way of talking to someone.
I agree 100%. Okay, so then the question becomes, how do we use this inner alchemical process? How do we distill it into societal change? Right?
Yeah. Well, I think really, we were talking a little bit before, like Scott Peck. Like, I love the way that he looks at stages of community building. I feel like this could be helpful.
Okay.
I think there are a lot of ways we can look at this. I personally find his process to be nice and streamlined,
Love it.
where we have a lot of room for growth here.
Yes, please keep it simple.
So I think where we often find ourselves is stage one, which is pseudo community, which is where we actually are refusing to acknowledge pain points.
Yes.
We look the other way.
Yeah, we're performing community.
Exactly.
Yes.
That is essentially where we start. This is like the precursor to the alchemical process. The alchemy really happens in stages 2 and 3.
Okay.
Stage 2 is chaos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It is when we allow ourselves to directly address what is wrong,
Okay.
where we come face to face with it.
Yeah. Kind of feels like that's where we're at right now here in the US.
I would agree with you. We're
Yeah.
in the chaos stage, but
Yeah.
I think the way through the chaos, though, is the process we've been talking about. What is my part? And also, what are the other parts? Like, how am I actually connected to the center of gravity
Yes.
of culture that needs to change?
Yes. What is my part and what is my responsibility, not only to the system within, but to the system I'm a part of outside?
Yes.
Right? Where is my responsibility? Right? And how do I show that? And how do I show up in ways that are culturally responsible, that are ecologically responsible? Right? Yes.
Right. Like, I can take a look. I mean, one of the things that has been popping up recently are these data centers that people are talking about.
Yes.
Like, there's one that's on the docket in Utah,
Yeah.
which for me, like, that has some meaning because like the majority of my significant outdoor wilderness experiences that have been meaningful to me were in the wilderness of Utah.
Which is a beautiful and amazing, Utah wilderness is a magical place.
It is. And so the idea of building a massive data center that is going to fundamentally alter the ecology of the landscape,
Yes.
that brings some things up for me,
Yeah.
right? Well, we can take a step back and say, what is happening here and why is it happening? And then we really start to wrestle with it, which can be difficult, right? We say, like, okay, well, like, if we were to take a look at like a social development model, like a spiral dynamics model, what is the data center really indicating? Well, we're in this place where the center of gravity socially may be around like productivity. That's what we're focused on. How can I increase productivity? The challenge becomes, well, if as a human being and as like a culture, like as a species, our identity is actually tied to the land.
Yeah.
Am I allowing our center of gravity to actually pull us farther away into disconnection from the land?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got to start there.
Right. Oh,
But until we can face that
Yeah.
and say, like, okay, what is this really a symptom of?
right.
The data center is a problem.
Right. We want to get down to those core issues, to those core values
Yes.
that we as a society have put on the pedestal,
Exactly.
right? And which have led and guided us.
Yes. If my primary focus is productivity, that is problematic.
Right.
And and then we can go through this process, right? We can say, like, what are all of the pieces of evidence? Let's take the prima materia, all the things that are fully present in the moment that we are not separated from, that are actually part of the world that we exist within.
Yeah.
How many times do we see, like, make your first million in 6 months? what on earth? Why are we so obsessed with 1 million as our baseline?
Yeah.
Of like, that's our goal. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
$1 million? Like, who came up with this arbitrary number?
Right.
What is it about 6 figures? Why is it always 6 figures? Right. And like, what is it about this dollar amount in this amount of time?
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting that so much of that goal is centered around like the individual making a certain benchmark.
Yes.
Right. Rather than society as a whole lowering a benchmark.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. What is it that the benchmark currently is?
Right.
What is the emphasis on that benchmark? It is
Right.
about me getting this amount of money in this amount of time. That is an individualistic,
Yes.
productivity oriented expression.
Right.
That tells me this is where we are developmentally.
Yeah. Yeah. That pathoadolescence that we've talked about. Right.
And like, I love spiral dynamics in some ways because it actually can say, like, it can pinpoint this is developmentally where we're at, as well as it gives us a model that helps us to also see what is it like when you're starting to progress into the next developmental stage. Because the spiral is nice because half the time you're moving forward and half the time you're moving backwards.
Yeah.
I love it, but you're always moving up.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So when I start to challenge the status quo, when I start to challenge the center of gravity, it gets really ugly.
Yeah.
We are in the dark.
The chaos.
We're in the chaos.
Yep.
But it's because we are pushing out of the bright, sunny, nice space and we are moving into the dark of feeling like we're moving backwards. But actually we're moving forwards. And what is it? What are the norms? What are the habits? What are the beliefs that are keeping us stuck in this place?
Yeah. I've had people try to explain spiral dynamics to me so many times. I've never heard it that way. That makes so much sense to me. Yes.
Right. And like it's all color coded and blah, blah, blah,
Right.
and complex. The idea is that there is a stage that is all about individual performance. That is the emphasis. The next stage is all about egalitarian connection.
Right.
That's where we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
But before we can get there, we have to say, what are the ways that I am currently connected to the status quo?
Right.
What are the ways that I am invested in it and subscribed to it? And how collectively do we face that
Right.
and really allow ourselves to release that, relinquish that?
Right. What's my relation to the system?
Yes.
Yeah.
And chaos is where that happens.
Yes.
And the chaos stage of community development is where so much of the alchemy is happening. We think when we come out of the chaos stage, we're actually coming to what Peck calls the emptiness stage, which is where I relinquish resentment and requirement of other people. I am accepting you as you are.
Yeah. Non-attachment.
Right. And that's piece of alchemy, right?
Yes.
I no longer hold resentment.
Yeah.
I can acknowledge.
Yes. Yeah. Radical acceptance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then now we can come into that stage of emptiness where we can hold each other and be present with each other in a way where everyone has a voice without resentment.
Yes. Without resentment, without judgment, with pure acceptance. This also feels very like my favorite socialist, Jesus, when he said, mourn with those who mourn.
Yeah.
Right? Until we can understand the plight of the least of us, right? Until all of us are free, none of us are free.
Yeah.
It's that idea. Yeah. I love this. I'm so here for this.
Right. Because we're releasing the need for competitive advantage.
Yes.
I'm saying that you can succeed without it meaning that I'm failing.
Right.
You can succeed and I can succeed, and they can be mutually beneficial.
Right.
It doesn't have to be competitive.
Yeah. The more you succeed, the more I succeed.
Yes.
Yeah. The more that the least of us succeed, the more we all succeed.
Right.
Yes.
Which this is going to require that we have to actually face the way that our a collective conscious concept of who we are, we have to acknowledge how it's no longer serving.
Right. We've got to acknowledge that gluttony is not a sin of eating, but of hoarding.
Right. Yeah. Like and all of these ways that we actually are contributing to like, it's like, I'm trying to get myself to this level of quote unquote excellence based on some arbitrary standard that is rooted in individualistic performance and competition.
Right.
I don't need to be there. Mm-hmm. I also don't need to sacrifice everyone to bring everyone on a level.
Yeah.
There's actually this place in the middle where we can actually be mutually supportive.
Yes.
And in harmony with the natural world.
Utopia.
If that was a real thing. Right? But that's really where alchemy takes us.
Yes.
I just can't do that collectively unless I'm also doing it individually.
100%. I would really honestly definitively say one cannot exist without the other.
Exactly.
Right? We can't do it collectively unless we're doing it individually, but also we can't do it individually unless we're also doing it collectively.
Yes.
Right?
Because we actually have to have support. We got to have structure and support in place.
Yes.
Like an alchemist isn't doing experiments in the wild. They're doing it in a laboratory.
Right. Well, I think back to our discussion of the Maslow's hierarchy and the individual nature of it versus the First Nations, the indigenous people's view of it, that we're all born with a sense of, or we're all born with that self-actualization, and that the community just helps you discover it. Mm-hmm. Right. But you have to have that community support.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah. Like one of the things I was talking about just this last week with somebody is that some of the journey that we're talking about here, which is we're really the last stage of alchemy is coagulation, which is basically where everything comes together and is solidified.
Right.
Like what we're talking about is we're talking about these encounters that we have with self or soul or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But eventually there has to be this place of initiating into the fullness of self.
Yes.
Right? Where that is fully who you are.
Right.
That requires community.
Yeah.
So in communities where they have practices in place where this actually happens.
Yeah.
Not where we participate in pageantry that is like a crude mimicry.
Right.
But actual initiation into that soul level identity.
Yeah.
The community comes together with the journeyer.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And they give them, they help them create a medicine bag.
Yeah.
Right? Their personal medicine.
Yeah.
And then that person leaves. And maybe they come back, maybe they don't, but they go and they have an initiatory experience.
Right.
And when they come back, they are no longer the person they were when they left.
Right.
That is the process that we're trying to accomplish, is that I am releasing the things that no longer serve. I'm facing the shadow within that is really the root cause of those things. Mm-hmm. I'm connecting to identity. I'm releasing resentment. I'm integrating that identity within. I'm allowing the patterns, the habits, the behaviors that supported that shadowy identity to die. I'm allowing my vision to shift. And then I'm fully initiating and embracing the newness of who I am in the world. And I'm doing the same thing with the people around me.
Right. And how amazing and beautiful if you can do that, if you can leave, if you can go through that initiatory process and bring back this now solidified, more authentic version of yourself and be embraced by the community that you left.
Yeah.
Right. Where I think that's oftentimes where we as community fail. Right. Where you've changed and I'm uncomfortable with your change. Mm-hmm. Right.
Exactly, because the community can't hold the transformation of an individual unless the other members of the community are also transforming.
Oh, and a community can't hold the change of the community unless they can hold the change of the individual.
Right.
Yeah.
It's such a symbiotic relationship that is required.
Yes.
And we can't get to the place of true community without the chaos of the alchemical journey.
Yes. I was reading this weekend, I was reading two things. I was reading Pennebaker, who did research on language and how it transforms trauma internally, alchemy.
Yeah.
And I was also reading about moral injury. So I honestly don't know where I read this because those were the two things I was taking in this weekend. But it was specifically talking about how healing can only happen through the whole process if it involves community, if it involves connection.
Yeah.
That is part of the process. And we are incomplete in the healing process if we don't have connection and community.
So true.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting when we think about what is the actual healing mechanism of therapy.
Yeah.
It's not the modality, it's the relationship.
Yes.
The relational field is the number one thing that contributes to healing.
Yeah. Yeah. Accurate empathy. Yep.
Exactly. Which also, interestingly, the thing that causes trauma isn't necessarily the event, but it's in the way that we are received after the event.
It's in the isolation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Community is key to all of it.
Yes.
But the community is also the collection of individuals.
Yes.
And so it requires that the transformation is supported and held and honored and enabled to take place, but also that requires that the transformation is being sought.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So much to take in, so much to alchemize, so much to apply. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot.
It is. Well, and here's like kind of the icing on the cake for me.
Okay.
Is alchemy is a transmutation, which is different than transformation.
Okay. All right. Say more.
Transmutation is permanent.
Okay.
So if you turn lead into gold, it can't go back to lead. It is fundamentally changed at an atomic level.
Right.
The way I like to think about it is like an alchemist versus Optimus Prime.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I used to teach high school. Here we go.
Okay.
Optimus Prime is a transformer.
Right.
Sometimes he's a semi-truck and sometimes he's like a 20-foot tall robot.
Right. Yeah. Back and forth. Back and forth.
Yeah.
As when needed.
Yeah.
Right.
Transmutation is a type of transformation.
Right.
But transformation isn't always transmutation. Transformation implies that change occurs. Transmutation implies that change is permanent.
Okay. Around the time that I was making a transmutation in my life that I just could not go back from was about, it happened. And then just maybe a year or two later, there was this big internet thing. The black and blue dress versus the white and gold dress.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh gosh. Yes.
Yes. And there was so much debate. Is the dress black and blue or is the dress white and gold?
Yeah.
Right. And I found this fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, why does this happen? Why do some people see black and gold versus some people see black and blue versus white and gold? So I did a whole bunch of research and learned the word I'm looking for is when you see something and it's not that thing and it's something else. The brain is not braining right now. Optical illusion.
Yes.
I learned the optical illusion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And somebody recreated it. And this is exactly how it happens. And, you know, it's just because of how you view where the light is going and recreated the optical illusion of it. I was like, that is fascinating. That's why it's just an optical illusion. And some people see it some way and some people see another, but it's actually a black and blue dress. And the optical illusion makes you see white and gold. Now, before I studied this and before I learned it, I only saw the dress as white and gold. I could not see it as black and blue. And then I learned the optical illusion, and I looked at the picture again, and before my very eyes, it changed from white and gold to black and blue, and I could never go back to seeing it as white and gold because I understood the optical illusion of it. And for me, it was like the perfect metaphor for what I had experienced, where I saw the optical illusion of this old system that I was a part of, and I could never go back to seeing it the way it was before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Transmutation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense to me now.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Yeah.
And here we're saying the way that I consciously conceive myself
Yes.
is going to die.
Is going to fundamentally change.
Yeah.
Yeah. At an atomic level that
Yes.
you cannot go back from.
Right.
Yeah.
All of the structure that holds this shadow of ourselves out to the world.
Right.
We get to release that and connect to the truest part of ourselves and bring that into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you're not going to do this just one time. It's going to be a process.
Over and over and over.
And also 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yes. You know, every time it's happened to me, once I've gotten past that chaos stage, it has been a beautiful, more meaningful, colorful existence. Man, in that chaos stage.
It's really uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
And like it really takes us into some places that need to be looked at. Right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And that's the invitation, right? Are we in the chaos, in the dissolving? Are we taking that opportunity? Are we answering that call for change, for radical acceptance?
Yes. Because when we answer the call, like we can be assured that there are people on the path with us.
Yeah.
The guides and mentors.
Right. The people who have done the path before.
Right. That are there to help us, to hold us, to help us stay together. Right. We're not just like scattered into oblivion, which I think what we often fear, like, oh, I'll cease to exist. Yes. Okay. That is what ego will say is afraid.
Yeah. Or will be abandoned and nobody will be on that other side to embrace me, to hold me, to welcome me into the fold.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as we do that, as we like allow ourselves to be held by the guides and mentors along the way, we get to integrate the magic that is in the underworld within us and bring that back into the world.
Yes.
In a way that heals the land.
Yes.
That heals this, like it heals the community.
I'm here for it.
It's almost like,
Okay.
It's almost like myth is like the storehouse of knowledge that holds the answers to the questions that we have in our day with the knowledge that has been forgotten and is being held in the story.
Yeah, it's so weird. So weird. I feel like we keep coming to this conclusion over and over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Michael Mead, for teaching me that.
Well, thank you, Dan Warner, for having these conversations with me.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like, have I ever told you about the experience of starting the Fertile Dark podcast?
I don't think so.
I was laying on this couch and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And I couldn't move for like 2 weeks.
Oh.
I genuinely thought I was dying.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. And I remember like sitting in that space and then like connecting to this place of feeling like just feeling like there was a need to bring something different. And I just sat down and started writing, and this is what came from that.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I get to be a part of it.
Yeah. So right here, this very couch.
I feel the magic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. If I was like a cathedral kind of person, this would be.
This is it.
This is one of
your
my
cathedral.
This is one of my sacred artifacts.
Hell yes. Here for it.
Oh, I'm sorry if you're a cathedral person, you find that offensive. I'm not. That's not my intention.
That's an invitation for you to look at and do some alchemical change in there.
I will continue to improve.
I was talking to our listener who might be offended by that.
Yeah.
It's their
No, it's like
invitation.
we take like we use iconography as a way to symbolize
Yeah.
significant events
Yeah.
in the what do we say, cultural zeitgeist? Is that the phrase that people use?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, this is just one of those places.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Amazing.
So what would you recommend for people?
Oh, great question. Well, connecting to community, always, always, always connecting to community and practicing, right? Practicing what change looks like for you, what shift might look like, what authenticity looks like, and always, always, always with the mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you?
I think one of the things I would look at is from a community lens, is I would say, what are the conversations that you're avoiding having?
Oh, yeah.
What are all the irritants that you're not talking about with the people closest to you that are actually preventing you from being more fully connected?
Yeah.
I think that's a really beautiful opportunity.
Yeah.
And I would also say, what are the patterns in your life that are no longer serving you? Like to start looking at that. What are the ways that you see yourself with the people around you that you feel like actually don't line up with your authentic expression?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we all have those where we're like, why did I say that?
Yeah.
Why did I watch that? Why did I read that? Why did I go to that thing? Why did I hang out in that way? Just start looking at those.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to do anything with it yet, but start with becoming aware.
Yeah.
Like that's an example of mindfulness I might bring in.
Yes. I
Just
agree.
to look at that. Another option would be, what are the different parts of yourself that you notice coming up that are actually not connective? So like the fear, the shame, the anger, the resentment, just like what are those? And just start like developing awareness of them.
Yeah.
You can use like a parts map, even if you want, you can like bubble it out or whatever works for you. But just writing it down and getting curious about it, of what is it that's coming up and what is it trying to tell me and what is it afraid that's going to happen?
Right. I would add on to that, like the curious part specifically is developing the questions without answers. Is just sitting with the questions for a while and letting that be enough for a period of time. Doesn't have to be enough forever. But yeah, just being curious.
Yeah.
Being curious about your experiences, about the places where you're experiencing hiccups or hurdles or getting stuck, but also where you're seeing that in community too. Yeah. And just getting curious about it, developing the questions.
Yeah. Then if I were to, I know there are a lot of people in my kind of sphere of influence right now that are asking lots of identity and purpose questions. I feel like every day.
Yeah.
That's a topic that's coming up.
Yeah.
The nature wander that we were talking about is a really beautiful experience you can have.
Yeah.
Find a place outside that you can go wander around for an hour. Okay.
Yeah.
The nature wander I described, I did it. It was a 45-minute break that I had in between a meeting and picking my kids up from school.
Oh, yeah.
And I drove to a trailhead that is on the way to my kids' school.
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't have to be for long, 45 minutes to an hour. Take your journal, do a nature wander.
Yeah.
What's my intention?
Honestly, you can do it in a green belt next to a golf course. You can do it in a park. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have to go to an uninhabited place.
Yeah. Just get in nature.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I described the place I was at. It's really on one side is a mountain range and on the other side is Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like you're right in the middle of everything.
Yes.
But what an example of a question is, what is the physical object that represents how I am called to be present in community? And just see what you come up with.
Yeah.
You don't have to understand it. Just go find it.
Yeah. Being curious about it without the need for answers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the starting place.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. And I would say put it into language, however that looks like. I suggest journaling a lot, and a lot of people have like aversions to journaling for whatever reason, which I can really honor. I also tell everybody, don't think of journaling as I'm sitting down and I'm writing down and this is what happened today and whatever else. Journaling can look so many different ways. It can be the notes you write in the margin. It can be the questions that you had throughout the day. It can be the like, hey, here's 3 cool things I saw today, and it's just a list.
Yeah.
It can be the voice note that you put into your phone and then delete immediately afterward. There's so many different ways using language to understand ourselves can happen.
Yeah, I love that. I like, for me, like my example of journaling, I have a 2-pen system. And I have like my regular pen that I use to write notes.
Yeah.
And then I have my other pen that I use to write all my feels and thoughts and insights.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So for example, sometimes I'll just do like a card pull, and I use my like main pen to write down what is the symbolism around the card and the position the card is in. And then when something comes in, like a thought, a feeling, an insight, I swap pens. That's when I feel like the quote unquote journaling we're talking about. That's when it kicks into high gear, because it's like, what is the meaning I'm walking away with?
Yeah. I have a very unorganized 4-journal system that is my like day-to-day thoughts that does not get written in day-to-day. Sometimes I go months without writing in it. Sometimes I am writing in it every day for 2 weeks. I have a dream journal that if a dream sticks out, I write it down and it goes into the dream journal. I have a quotes journal. That I'm just like, I ran across this quote and it spoke to me, and so I'm writing it down. And then I can't remember what the last one is. Oh, notes from meetings and stuff. Something that stood out to me in a training or a meeting that I went to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like whatever works, right?
Yeah.
Different systems.
Yeah. Don't think of journaling as the like traditional way you think of journaling. Journaling is anything.
Yeah. Because I do think a lot of us will walk away from journaling thinking of it in like a diary, like a daily log.
Yeah.
There's definitely some validity to that.
Sure.
That's not what we're talking about.
No, it is not. Yeah. Yep. Journaling is anything you want it to be.
Yes. Yes. And in this particular instance, we're talking about insights and meaning making.
Yes.
What's happening on the inside,
yes,
not what's happening on the outside.
Right. Which can occur in so many different ways. Yeah.
Yeah. If I were to pick one other thing.
Okay.
Since we're on things you could do.
Okay.
I would say find the people you're closest to. Right? Like these are the people that you like really are connected to. That you feel really safe and comfortable with.
Yeah.
And find a way to have a ritual together.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because a thing that really contributes to community is ritual in gathering.
Yes.
So find those people and have a ritual together.
See, what I was going to say is find your people and continue this conversation, right? Like have your own conversations about alchemy and what that means to you, what that means to other people, getting curious about it, which I love that we're both on the same page of community and connection. Yeah. And a ritual, such a good way to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it can be like, we're going to sit and talk about this topic.
Yeah.
Let's have an opening. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a closing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It could be.
It can be really, really beautiful.
Okay. Well, go do your things, dear listener, and come back and tell us all about it.
Yes.
Please.
Yep. Let us know how it goes. Let us know your questions.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about any of the things, maybe we'll talk more about identity at some point.
Oh, I love identity. Love identity processing, identity development.
So, but hopefully you got something out of today's episode. I know it was a lot of fun for us. Talking about alchemy, talking about the different stages of alchemy. There is so much to alchemy that we didn't touch on.
Yeah.
We dipped a toe into alchemy. So we'd invite you to let us know what you're thinking about the show. Leave us a rating or review so we can know how you're feeling about it. Drop us a comment and share this episode with someone that you feel like could benefit from it.
Please.
Yeah. And as always, keep delving deep and embracing the journey.